Sometimes the hardest conflicts aren't about strangers. They're about family, partners, friends, people who are supposed to understand us. The stories you're about to hear all ask the same question in different ways. When does standing your ground turn into being the villain? These are moments where emotions are high, lines are crossed, and there's no perfect answer, only choices, consequences, and opinions. These are true Reddit stories from r/AmItheAsshole. Welcome to Reddit Echoes. Story 1. Defending Home with a Gun. I'm a 27-year-old man, and I've been with my girlfriend for about 2 years now. I'm black, raised in the inner city. She's white, raised in the suburbs. Most of the time, those differences don't matter, but last week, they suddenly mattered more than anything. I'm currently taking care of my mother. She's getting older and recently had surgery on her legs. She can't walk. She can't support herself. I need to be very clear about that. If something happened to her, she wouldn't be able to run, hide, or defend herself. Her bedroom is in the back of the house, right next to the back door that leads out to the porch. Last Wednesday at about 2 in the morning, my mom called me. Her voice was shaking. She said someone was trying to break into the house. She could hear them kicking the back door. My girlfriend was staying over that night. She was in my bedroom when I got the call. I jumped out of bed, grabbed my gun, and ran toward the back of the house. I started yelling for whoever was there to get away because I could still hear the door being hit when I got there. Then it went quiet. I checked the camera on the back porch. There were 3 people standing there. 3. And one of them actually said, "Keep going, it doesn't matter." That's when I used the speaker on the camera and told them I had a weapon, that it was loaded, and that if they kicked the door one more time, I would shoot. My girlfriend was behind me at that point, screaming, telling me not to shoot, saying it wasn't worth it. The 3 people didn't move, so I set my phone down, raised my weapon, and told them I was going to count to 3. I said if they weren't gone by the time I got there, I was firing. I got to 1, they ran. As soon as they were gone, my girlfriend started yelling at me. She said there is never a reason to threaten to shoot someone, ever. I told her we weren't having this conversation right now and that we needed to call the police. Yes, maybe I should have called sooner, but my only thought in that moment was my mother lying helpless just a few feet from that door. The police came. They saw shoe prints on the fence and damage on the back door from where it had been kicked. They patrolled the area but didn't find anyone. After the police left, my girlfriend exploded. She said she couldn't believe I was willing to kill someone just because they kicked my door. I told her it wasn't about the house, it was about my mother. She was lying in bed, unable to move. Those people could have stolen from us. They could have hurt her. They could have killed her, or worse. I had no way of knowing what they were there to do, and I wasn't going to take that chance. She said there's never a reason to hurt or kill someone, that violence is never the answer, that it only makes you just like the person you're hurting. I told her the only reason she believes that is because she's never had someone try to physically harm her before. I told her I'm not apologizing for what I did. I have every right to defend myself, my home, my mother, and yes, even her. She's barely spoken to me since. I'm trying to understand her perspective. I really am, but I'm not willing to give up my ability to protect the people I love just because she believes violence is never necessary. So I'm asking honestly, am I really the bad guy for mentally preparing myself to stop 3 strangers who are about to break into my home in the middle of the night? Because from where I'm standing, the alternative was standing there empty-handed, hoping for the best, while my mother lay helpless on the other side of that door. And that was never an option for me.
Story 2. Not dropping charges on a 10-year-old bully. I have 2 kids, and they go to a school where most of the students are refugees or immigrants. The neighborhood is similar. I want to be clear about something up front. This isn't about race. It's about violence. Yesterday, my 9-year-old daughter was at recess, playing basketball with her friends. Out of nowhere, a 10-year-old kid walked up behind her, shoved her to the ground, and as she was trying to get up, kicked her in the head like it was a soccer ball. My wife rushed to the school and checked her out immediately. She'll be okay, but she had scratches on her face, a black eye, and visible swelling. Seeing your child like that does something to you. It rewires your brain. The principal told us he'd handle it later. Later, he called both my wife and me and asked us to drop the charges. He said the other child didn't understand what they did was wrong. That sentence stuck with me. Because if a child truly doesn't understand that kicking someone in the head is wrong, then that child needs consequences more than anyone. I told the principal that if the school wasn't going to discipline the kid, I would call the police and file charges myself. He wasn't happy. People started implying I was overreacting, that I should be more understanding, that the kid's background should be considered. But my daughter's head hit the ground. So no, I'm not dropping anything. Am I really the bad guy for wanting accountability when someone assaulted my child? Because from where I'm standing, excusing violence is how you teach kids they can get away with it. Story 3. The lab diamond and the comment I shouldn't have made. I'm a 26-year-old woman and I recently got engaged. I was excited. I shared photos of my ring with my family and on social media. It's a large diamond, just under 5 carats, but it's lab-grown. I specifically asked for that because I care about ethics and didn't want to risk a blood diamond. I love my ring. My sister didn't. She's 21, and the moment she saw it, her mood shifted. She said it was too flashy, too trendy, not timeless. Then she said there was no way my fiancé could afford it. She was right. If it were mine, he couldn't have. He's a second-year resident. But that's the point of lab diamonds. When I explained that, she said lab diamonds aren't real diamonds, that they don't have the same meaning. She kept pushing. Eventually, I snapped and said that by her logic, my niece isn't a real baby either, because she was conceived through IVF and started in a lab. The line went dead silent. I immediately knew I'd crossed it. My sister struggled for years with infertility. IVF was brutal for her. They had failed rounds and even a miscarriage before my niece was born. She started crying. Her husband called me later and told me I was cruel and insensitive. I didn't mean it the way it came out. I adore my niece. I spoil her constantly. I was trying to use her logic against her, not insult a child. But intentions don't erase damage. So now I'm sitting here wondering if winning the argument was worth what it cost. Story 4. Stopping mortgage payments after the deal changed. I'm 32 years old, and for the past 8 years I've been paying my parents' mortgage and property taxes. They're retired. They don't have much saved because they spent everything making sure my sister and I got top-tier educations. I felt like I owed them. The agreement was simple. I'd help cover the house, and when it was eventually sold, I'd get a larger share. No contract, just trust. Last year, my sister lost her job and moved in with them. I recently found out she suggested staying permanently, and my parents agreed. That changed everything. If she stays forever, the house never gets sold, which means I'd be paying indefinitely for something I'll never benefit from. So, I stopped paying. My parents are furious. They say I'm money-obsessed, that family should help family. They promise my sister will pay me back someday. I don't believe them. 8 years is a long time to pay someone else's mortgage without paperwork. Am I wrong for finally drawing a line?
Story 5. Telling my best friend the truth after she crossed a line. I've been best friends with Kira since childhood. She once had a crush on my husband, Rowan, before we started dating. I checked with her multiple times to make sure she was okay with us being together. She said she was. Recently, she started acting off. She always wanted to know if Rowan was home before coming over. She sat too close, laughed too hard, made comments that made even him uncomfortable. At a dinner party, she got drunk and started touching him openly. She slurred that I had stolen him. Her boyfriend saw enough. The next day, he broke up with her. When she came crying to our friend group, everyone comforted her. She looked at me and asked if I had anything to say. So I said it. I told her maybe he wouldn't have left if she wasn't constantly trying to get with my husband. The room exploded. Some people said I went too far, that I should have waited, that it wasn't the time. But I was done pretending nothing was happening. And honestly, so was Rowan. Story 6. Refusing to help my cheating sister after she became homeless. My sister and I were close our entire lives. Then I found out she was pregnant with my husband's baby. I ended the marriage immediately and cut her out of my life, completely. They lived together during her pregnancy. After the baby was born, he kicked her out and started fighting for custody. She called our parents from the hospital saying she had nowhere to go. They called me. I told them it wasn't my problem. She ended up in a shelter for single mothers. My parents say I should be ashamed, that I'm turning my back on family, on a baby. I told them I owe her nothing. I'm not punishing a child, I'm refusing to clean up the consequences of betrayal. If they want to help her so badly, they're free to do it themselves. I've already lost enough. If you stayed until the end, thank you for listening. Stories like these don't always have clean resolutions. Sometimes all people want is to know whether they were wrong or if anyone else would have done the same thing in their place. If one of these situations felt familiar, you're not alone. And if one of them made you uncomfortable, that's kind of the point. If you enjoyed true Reddit stories and thoughtful moral dilemmas, consider subscribing to Reddit Echoes. New stories are shared regularly, and every one of them starts a conversation. Take care of yourself, and thanks for listening.